Bars still matter. Bars still matter. Bars still matter. Still matter. Still matter. Still matter.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bars Still Matter, because yes, the bars still matter, especially in these times nowadays, but the bars have never gone nowhere to me. That's my opinion. So have a special guest with me today. Let him introduce himself.
Mickey!
Introduce yourself.
From the Bronx. What's going on?
mickey.factz from the Bronx. If y'all not familiar with him, y'all will get familiar with him today, but I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with him. You know what I mean? Because you definitely are well known for what you do. Well, let's jump right into it. You say you're from the Bronx, right?
Yes, sir.
Being from the Bronx, and the Bronx being the birth of, as we know, hip hop, is that what birthed mickey.factz? Brought you into the culture, or was it something else that brought you into the culture?
I'm from the Bronx, but I was born in Harlem. So My first introduction to hip hop was listening to Ain't No Half Steppin' by Big Daddy Kane on vinyl. I was listening to him as a chipmunk because I was a little kid, and you know, I was a chipmunk fan. You know, you put the speed on the 45s up real high, make it sound like a chipmunk. So my cousin was like, "What the hell are you doing? You breaking the record. This is how you listen to it." And I sat and I listened to Kane, and that's how I fell in love with hip hop from that moment forward.
So you're like because you're in the same age range as me. So I'm gonna ask this is a random question. And so that means if you was at that age, which movie then grabbed you hip hop wise? Was it B Street, Crush Groove, Breakin'? Any of those grabbed you?
No, because we not the same age. If that's the movies.
No, but as a kid,
I ain't seen none of those movies.
You didn't?
The hip hop movie that got me turned out to hip hop might have probably been House Party.
Okay, but that came after you got into in the Big Daddy Kane verse.
The Big Daddy Kane verse, I heard it in 89, maybe 90, maybe. And House Party came out in 1990. You know what I'm saying? I was around 8 years old when I first heard Kane. So,
and see, for me, my older cousins were playing the Beat Street movie, and that's what grabbed me. And Lee lived in my neighborhood, so I was like, oh, you know, I mean, I'm a little kid, like that's the same age as you, and I saw Lee. It was like, to me, that was a big star, you know, seeing a movie. So, but I thought maybe since you were introduced to the music by your family, they might have introduced you to the movie. You know what I mean? So
I didn't watch Breakin' when I was a kid. I didn't watch none of that. I didn't watch any of those three movies you mentioned as a kid. My first hip hop movie, from what I remember, was House Party. That after House Party, I guess I wouldn't consider Boys in the Hood a hip hop movie, even though Cube was in it. I wouldn't consider it a hip hop movie. I would consider Juice more of a hip hop movie. That felt more like hip hop because they was DJing, and Kane, you know, they was using the Rakim's joint. The suckers get smacked up. That's the Kane record. So I would consider House Party 2, and Juice as the first three movies I watched that pertain to hip hop.
You said House Party 2. So people might debate with you with that.
I love House Party 2.
That's a good debatable. Not too many people throw that one up there, Mickey.
I love House Party 2. I had COVID last week, so I watched it. It was on HBO Max. Man, that movie is. I love that movie, man.
I'm glad you're back. Are you and your family?
Yeah, we good. We good. Yeah, my wife, she caught it from me because we didn't know I had it. We thought, you know, we're in Atlanta now, so we thought that we thought that it was the pollen. You can see the pollen actually out here, so we thought it was the pollen and allergies, but it was actually COVID.
Another side question. You weren't at any of the battle events down there recently, were you?
Yeah, RBE.
Because I damn sure said, watching that event, like, yeah, a lot of people in there catching COVID. Then Uncle Rod told me he was the only one in there wearing a mask. Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, he was. He definitely
yeah.
was.
Well,
So,
blessings, man. I'm glad you and the wife, you're getting better and everything, man. You know what I mean? Glad of that.
yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Let me ask you. I'm not going to go in order with your questions because to me, I just feel like you're somebody that you don't do that with.
Okay.
Even judging by your projects, you know what I mean? Like, even when you're doing covers, your covers, even like with collages, like you're somebody you don't just stay in order with things. So,
right.
What's your creative process when putting your rhymes and songs together? Because you're not in my opinion, this is my opinion, you're not the average rapper when writing bars. You feel me? So I want to ask you, being the type of artist that you are, what is your creative process when putting together your songs or just your lyrics?
I like to make cohesive projects. So a lot of times when you hear my projects, it's usually one centralized theme. So we'll take Warp Collages, for example. Shout out to P.A. Dre. He jumped in my inbox and was like, let's do an EP. And I did 5 songs in like, I wouldn't say like a day or two. It took me like a day or two to write 5 songs off the project. And it came out really dope. So, but typically I just pick the beats. I sit with them for a little while. You know, I like to court my beats. You know what I'm saying? I take them out on dates. We go out, we walk, we sit, we drive around, and we just live for a very long time. And then when it's time for me to write, it just flows. It flows because now I know what the beat wants me to say. And I write it really quickly. And then I record it really quickly, and I try to make sure there's a centralized theme. So Warp Collages, that theme was me letting my support system know about what I was experiencing during the pandemic, and it was just a collage of feelings. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, I tried to push my pen to different places. You know, like with A-, and even just dealing with racism.
A- is a dope song too, by the way. Go ahead.
I appreciate that. No, you good. So even with dealing with racism and how we were living during the pandemic, it was a big thing for that time for me.
All right. Can you explain to the listeners and the viewers the importance to you of independence? What does it mean to you, and not just in music, as an individual in life?
Yeah, man, being independent is probably one of the most freeing things I've ever experienced in my entire life. I've been independent for the past 14 years now. I was working at a job at a law firm, and I had to wake up early every morning, and I had to go to work, and I had to endure making somebody else money, following their rules, listening to what they told me to do on a consistent and constant basis. It was very demoralizing for me personally. I believe that as a people, some people do need to be worker bees, and some people enjoy being worker bees. For me, it just wasn't that. It felt mundane. I'm a creative, so I needed to be around people that were creative as well. And I decided that I wanted to further my journey in terms of creation by leaving that job. Being an independent, I have to wake up and get right to work. You know, sometimes I have leisure days, but for the most part, if I don't work, we don't eat. So I do my best to, put my best foot forward on a consistent basis so that, my family is well taken care of.
Now, you transfer that into your music, obviously, and in your career. Also give the viewers and listeners your opinion or advice on being an independent artist, handling that as an independent artist, the day-to-day. Like, because we live in a day and age now where that is the thing to be, an independent artist. But you've been being an independent artist before was the thing to be. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I feel like I'm right. Can you give some advice if you feel like it's two independent artists that are just starting now?
Yeah, I'll give a piece of advice. Trust your gut. This is something that LL Cool J told me in a McDonald's one time.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, never make decisions based off your mind, your heart, always make the decisions based on your gut. When you make the decision based on your mind, you're thinking too much about the decision. And when the decision doesn't go your way, you're going to always think about how you could have did it better. When you make a decision based on your heart, if it doesn't go your way, you're always going to be emotional about that decision. And it's never going to be something that you'll live down. If you make the decision based on your gut, your inner core, if the decision goes wrong, you will be able to live with it because you knew that this was the right move for you at that time. No matter how successful something may turn out to be or how wrong you may have been, you were firm in your decision. So always make a decision based on your gut, not from your mind and your heart.
I feel like I've always gone with my gut my whole life. And the one time in my life I didn't go with my gut or trust my gut is the one time I regretted it. So that is true what you just said. And a family member of mine, when he heard what happened, he said, without even asking me, he said, "So you went against your gut?" I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? He didn't even know. I'm like, yeah, I did. So that's good advice you just gave. And it came from a legend. So you said,
shout out to L Cool J, man.
Yeah. I mean, you've been blessed. I've been knowing of you for many years. You know what I mean? Following you on Twitter, Instagram, before Instagram, all that. So been aware of you. You've been blessed to be among elite artists. And you also have gotten your let's say, flowers from them. You know what I mean? How does that feel? You know?
It feels great. I mean, as an artist, you know, we come up listening to other artists and we take bits and pieces from other artists to create who we are. No artist just comes out of the womb and just picks up a pen without hearing somebody else and just starts to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? We all take from people. And I've watched and listened to so many different artists coming up. And I was just been blessed to been able to work with a lot of the people and meet a lot of the people that I grew up listening to. And even the younger guys that are coming up, I'm fans of them and they're fans of me. And they always, you know, tell me, you know, I was an inspiration to them when they were coming up. It's the circle of life. So for me, it's always a blessing, man. I love it to death because, you know, my contribution to hip hop will forever be engraved in a lot of people's minds and a lot of artists' minds and supporters as well. So it's always a blessing to just get that love, you know?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Do you have any regrets in your past, in your early part of your career with signing with labels?
Yeah, definitely. I have some regrets. There were just some things that I could have done better in terms of where I landed. You know, I went to Jive. A lot of people said don't go to Jive because they didn't know how to handle hip hop acts. You look at guys like Mobb Deep. They had Tribe Called Quest, but that was a different tenure of workers there. But I believed in Jive, and I believe that if Barry Weiss, the CEO, never left Jive, I would probably be in a different standing in my career. But I
believed in you being at I believed in the situation with you at Jive. When you signed, I was happy.
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, I was like, all right, things are gonna happen. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. I think things were going to move in the right direction. The issue was when Barry Weiss left Jive, the whole label folded. You know, a lot of people think that I got dropped. I didn't get dropped. If I would have got dropped, then so did Chris Brown and so did Justin Timberlake. We all got moved to different labels. So I went from Jive to RCA. Some artists went to Epic, you know? Yeah. So I got moved to RCA and there was a bunch of people there that were not, you know, they didn't have my best interests at heart because they weren't the people that signed me.
True.
So that was label politics. And they wanted me to conform and do things that I just wasn't comfortable with doing. So I had to leave the label, you know. But I truly believe that if Barry Weiss never left Jive, I would be in a better position in terms of my musical career.
Yeah. Because it was also another label underneath them too, under Jive.
Battery Records.
Yeah, because they released Q-Tip's solo album. Yes. But it was like when it came out, I remember seeing that imprint on there. But Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I wanted to ask you. A lot of people aren't aware of the politics behind the scenes of, like you said, when the label, when they started folding their land, people go, everybody went to other labels that were connected to Job. That happens with any label.
Right.
And that'd be the bad part too, because you go somewhere where it might be people in that office that aren't familiar or really don't care as much. So
right. And I did my best. I did my best to work the building, you know, like I was in the building 2-3 times a week. You know, like I felt that I wanted the people that worked there to know that I cared about my career. So I would be in the offices all the time. Like that's not something that artists would do. Like I would be in the offices all the time. I would be talking to my radio promo guy. I would be talking to someone who's doing digital media, just even if it's my product manager. I would talk to everybody just so that they knew who I was. They could put a face to the person. And sometimes we wouldn't even talk about music. We just joke and laugh and get to know one another. I did my best to be as positive as possible about the situation. But once the label folded, all of these people that I built a rapport with and who had my back and who supported me, they all got fired. So I had, you know, and then once you build this rapport with so many people and then you go to another label, it's just, you know, they have their own situations that they're dealing with their artists, and then
their own agendas.
They had, you know, RCA was a very big label, and then to get all of the artists from Jive, it's like now they had their artists, and then our artists were on there, and I was at the bottom of the totem pole still at the time. I was still climbing the ranks, so I was left for dead basically at the label.
What was the time frame of that? What years were that exactly? Because I'm bad with years. So what was this years?
This was 20. It's actually 10 years ago. This was 2011. It was 2011, man. I was on Jive. Barry Weiss left in like he might have left in the spring time of 2011.
So
and then
wait, hold on. This is what I was asking. Is this the time frame? Because all this makes sense. This the time frame when you drop the record For the Culture with Marsha?
Yes. So
now it makes sense.
So For the Culture,
I felt like that song, I was like, wow, why wasn't this where it should have went? And now this makes sense.
For the culture, literally. So we did the record. Marsha, she laid her chorus down. We shot the video, and then we put the record out. We put the song out. Song was doing great. We put the video out. I premiered it on 106 in Park.
Yes, I remember.
And then, like maybe a week later, we were supposed to go get ads on the radio for it. We were gonna start impacting the record, and then Jive folded. Barry Weiss leaves, and everybody was in limbo, and it was just a bad situation from that point forward. But
it's weird.
That was a great record.
10 years later, and that has all makes sense to me myself from a fan aspect. So it's like, yo, yeah, man. I was wondering because I'm like, that record. And when I was all right, that's a dope record. Because people would have expected a For the Culture record to be more boom bap feel to it. You didn't follow that same format and formula. You came with a nice song that was like, to me, I was like, this is a club record that's not a club record. You know what I mean?
Right.
It caught people off guard. I'm like, this is radio friendly, but like you said, and it's still for the culture. So I'm just bringing it up because I knew, I said, wait a minute, it's what about that time frame, man? So yeah, and look, today, for the viewers and listeners, you know, go back if you're not familiar with that record, go back and look for it. Because to this day, that song is still relevant to me. You know what I mean? It's like wine. Right. The age is good. That song is still relevant right now.
Yeah, man. It was. You know, I had even bigger records after that, man. You know, and it just fell apart. You know, like that. You know, the label fell apart, and once the label fell apart, there was nothing that I could do. There's nothing that I could do, man. It was
how did your whole situation with Conglomerate come about?
So I never was signed to Conglomerate. I don't know why my name is
That
on there.
rumor has always been out there all these years. You serious?
I never signed with Buster. I don't know why that's on my Wikipedia. I never even went in and changed it. People
That's
said I
on
was signed.
Wikipedia as well.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from. I really do not know where that came from. I never signed with Conglomerate ever.
I remember me and Heavy Bag having conversations about you being a. That's how much that was a rumor then.
Yeah,
that you being with Jay, because we used to always sit back and be like, "Yo, why isn't Buster doing nothing with him if he's dead?"
Right.
Because at the time, I think he was acknowledging Rock Marciano. That's when he started giving him that head nod. You know what I mean? And that's when we were hearing that you were affiliated with him too. Well, I'm glad we get to clear that up today. So that's good too.
Buster's the OG. I love Buster to death. That's my guy. Every time I see him, he shows me a massive amount of love, but I wasn't even offered anything at Conglomerate. So I don't even know how that rumor started. He had Rock Marciano and he had another guy with him. I forgot homie's name though, but yeah. I never was with them.
That was the time frame when Rock was there. That's why I remember. So now listen, speaking of now, this definitely ain't a rumor. This is something that I hate that you don't get recognized for. They always bring up in battle rap, the industry rappers going into battle rap. That's been heavy now, even with Cassidy there. They keep a list. I hate me and my friends that are into the culture always had these combos. I hate that mickey.factz name does not get mentioned when he mentioned industry rappers that have been able to go over into the battle rap culture and be successful. It's like you don't get recognized as that industry rapper.
I know.
When it comes to the battle rap, I don't know what it is. Do you feel that way? Because I hate that shit. Because you are, to me, the only industry rapper that's been fully successful to do that transformation.
Yeah, I mean,
give my opinion.
They don't want to acknowledge me for that, because then it doesn't help their narrative. It doesn't help the narrative for people who feel that way. But at the time when I came back, the first time I came back was against Danger Zone. Mm-hmm. At that time, you got to remember, I had Paradise. I battled Danger in 2013. So at that time, look at everything I had done by that time. I was on the cover of the Double XL. I did 106 in Park 3 times. I did the BET Cypher. I went to the Grammys in 2009. I toured with Nas. I toured with Buster. Toured with the Roots. Opened up for the Roots many times. Worked with Marsha Ambrosia. Worked with Kanye. Worked with Wayne.
Talk your shit, Mickey. Mickey, talk your shit. Talk your shit, Mickey. Talk your shit.
I had a record deal when I did the battle with Danger. So that was 3 record deals because I signed with Universal. My single with Yellow Wolf was coming out maybe a week after that battle. I went on tour with Lupe after that. Like, I put out Mickey Mouse, which was a top, one of the top mixtapes of the year 22. So it's ridiculous. I did a record with John Legend. John Legend was on tour with Sade. On his day off, he came and recorded a song with me. Like, these are all facts. And they don't want to acknowledge any of that.
Talk your shit, Mickey. That's why I said that. Talk your shit.
They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't feel like that it should be acknowledged.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of love for everybody that's returned, whether it's King Los or Jag or Cass or Joe Button, whoever, but to exclude me is doing a disservice not only to hip hop, but to myself, because I put in tons and tons and tons of work and was able to get whatever I asked for when I came back. You know what I'm saying?
Why though? Why do you feel this is happening? For people like me and you that are so in tune and know you are the one person who has been, again, not to discredit anybody else. I feel like you've been the only industry artist that did it with no bump.
No bump.
Why is it though? Your name is not put in right there as, yo, he did do it though. They don't mention you even when I'll be seeing comments online randomly. when they list the artists of industry rappers, you just name them all. They don't put your name in there. Why? Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why you think this is going on? Like,
because
I hate it, bro.
The culture they don't like me, man. That's what it really is. You know, when people say they the villain and this, they don't really be the villain. You know, it's just that people don't like them. These niggas really don't like me. Like, they just don't like me. And they don't like the fact that I was able to come back and do it at a high level. I was able to come back. I never got booed not one time on stage. Not even like from one person. I have never gotten booed. I have never had a home game. You know what I'm saying? I've never, I took the people that were the most dangerous at the time that I took them. I'm
glad you said that too, because I was going to say that.
Best Danger Zone ever, best DNA ever, even Daylight at the time. That wasn't the best Daylight, but
no, that because Daylight to me has always been, but to mention DNA and Danger Zone, yeah, at those times, DNA to me was at its height then. So right now where he's at, he became where he's at now then, because at that time frame when you battled him. Yeah.
Right. So like for me, they don't want to acknowledge that. They don't want to acknowledge that, you know, every single one of my matches, with the exception of Daylight, because I beat them clearly, every one of them are debatable. But because they're debatable, I lost them. But when somebody has a debatable that comes back from the industry, they automatically win to people. But for me, it's not. It's like you lost, and there's no way that for people to debate it. People just don't. I don't know. I have no answer for that, honestly. I really don't.
Right there, what you said is a debate as well, because I also know that on the other side of it, from my thinking and from people that I've always been in conversations with through life about this, it's supposed to be that if the favorite is the one. If it becomes a debatable, then it goes to the underdog, not to the favorite. DNA being the favorite, that means if it's a debatable between y'all, it goes to you.
Don't do that
again, but that's just how the culture is. You know what I mean? One side say this, one side say that. Either way, a debatable still means you came back and did something the others didn't.
That was the best. Those were the best versions of those artists at that time when I faced them. They weren't. They weren't, there was nothing, like if they would have came any lesser, they would have both lost. Mm-hmm. Clearly. Exactly. Like Danger said it. And
Danger had it the hardest, I think, because that was in the early times of when they started the beginning of industry rapper versus battle rapper. So I think he had it the hardest, I'll say the most pressure than afterwards. You know what I mean? But go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Danger, you know, and that's my brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that one is very close. It depends. If somebody feels like I lost, I won't argue them. And somebody feels like I won, I won't argue them, because I started out hot and then went cold. He started out cold and then went hot. So it's even. It's really even. And it just depends. But people, because he had the last bars at the end of the round, people give him that battle. I had the best bar in my battle with DNA at the end of my battle, and they don't want to give me the third round. But that's just how they don't fuck with me. So because they don't rock with me like that, like I have to take that scrutiny. I have to take it.
Now, that being said, which I'm glad you said it, because I had the question. Why do you feel you intimidate rappers?
I don't.
Don't. I hope you ain't about to do that, Mickey. Don't do it.
Listen, I don't believe I do. I mean,
you do.
Hey, listen, man. Listen. I write. I just write what I write, man. And if people feel intimidated by that, that's from their own personal merit, man. Like, I feel like I've rapped with some of the greatest rappers of all time, you know what I'm saying? Underground, mainstream. And a lot of times they, you know, Jedis know Jedis, and Jedis go the extra mile when there's somebody who's really good. So
yeah,
shout out to the big bro, Royce. When me and Royce did our record, I told him, When me and Royce did our record, I said, listen, I need a 16. He sent back 32. When me and Pharaoh Monch did a record, I said, listen, I need a 16. He sent back 24. Just to take me out. You know, what's in
And
there? I could have did the same.
that's
I
what
coulda
Illa
did-
G once said. Just what you just said. He said
Yeah.
when he gets on the track with an individual, his job is to beat him on that track. That's what MC is supposed to do with each other.
Yeah. But they only do that when they know that you nice.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that with nobody else that they feel like they could just get by on. You know,
Yeah.
so like I go hard every record I do. So like I make everybody go to work. You know, like I don't play that. Like if I show up, you know what you're getting. You're getting your money's worth, and I'm trying to have the best verse on the song.
Are there any jumping back to the battle rap, then we get off it? Are there any other people right now that are out right now that you feel like you would step back into the ring for?
Only B Dot.
That was the one I had on my list.
That's it.
I had B Dot, Saga, and B Dot, Saga, and A Ward. I had them, but B Dot is first. That is mandatory. That is mandatory.
Mandatory.
That is mandatory.
That's my guy. Mandatory. I got a lot of love for him. You know, that was something that he said he wants to do, and you know, I feel like I have to give one more to the culture, and it's gonna be with ARP if I do it. And you know, it's one of those situations where you know it's gonna be one of them ones because we know how he come every time, and when it come to me, you don't even know what I'm gonna do because I have so few battles. So when I step out, though, you know it's a problem, and you know he's gonna be the best version of himself. You know, that's just the reality of it.
And that's what I'm looking forward to. That's why I had those three, because I feel like it has to be somebody that's gonna work with you like that. And I went from the highest to the lowest to me, not to discredit nobody else, but I feel like your next one has to be somebody that's gonna interact the same way with you. If you get what I'm saying, like in a match. You know what I mean?
Right.
I look at him, when I see him in battles, I think of you. So perfect matchup. Perfect. Yeah. I might even tweeted it. I think I might even tweeted it a year ago too or something. Or two. I know I think I did, but yeah. So I'm glad. And you know, I'm not surprised when you say RP, you down there in Georgia, he's down there in Georgia, and he does good business. So I'm not surprised that
you know, once I take that match, I would have been on the biggest platforms. I would have touched the biggest platforms in North America.
Yeah.
King of the Dot,
URL. Yeah.
RBE, you know. So
yeah. Rumors now, another rumor. But I think the rumor is true. You've been rumored to be a ghostwriter.
Yes.
Have you now, like I said, I think the rumors, like I said, have you written for battle rappers? And how many industry rappers have you written for? I know you can't name them, but have you written for battle rappers? Let's clear that rumor. And how many industry, or you could say how many songs you penned for industry artists, whatever, how you can do it, so we don't blow up any spots or nothing.
I've given haymakers and bars and angles to battlers since 2011. You know, I've been on a lot of Summer Madnesses. I've been on a lot of Gnomes. I've been on a lot of I've been on a lot of stages, man.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't feel like that's like a ghost. Like I haven't never written somebody a whole full round. I've never done anything like that. But I have given people some lines and crazy haymakers and crazy bars throughout the years. In terms of industry rappers, I've written for a lot of people, man. Like I've written for about 9-10 people, easily. 9-10
people is that's a lot.
Yeah, man, you know, it's a lot, you know. I mean, listen, man, I've written for people's top fives, top tens. It happens. I look at things, I look at it like this, man. This is the business. And when you get into the business, you know, you play your part, man. I don't see anything wrong with people taking lines, taking rhymes. You know, if I was in a position where I had to feed a company,
Yeah.
if I had to feed more than like 20, 30, 40 people at a time and I needed a hit record, I'm taking the hit record without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't
All
and
right.
I don't care what anybody would think of me with that, you know, because I have to provide for people. There's
Mhm.
this imaginary rule that you have to do everything on your own in hip hop. And I think that just needs to get tossed out the window. I don't believe that. You know, I believe that people need help. Like that's just the reality of the situation. You can't be on top but for so long unless you're Drake, obviously. And even him, he's had help.
He's
And I
had
don't
help.
think
Yes.
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I asked that because that's always been rumored, but it was never to me laid out. But like I said, I believed it because, battle rap, for one, I mean, separate both. Battle rap, for one, you've had relationships
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of battle rappers. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Friendships.
Yes.
And knowing how that coaches is, I do. Me knowing that coach, I always said, well, I know he's pinned something for some of them. You know what I mean? And moving into the other avenue in the world of just music, you've been in the industry, you rubbed elbows. Once again, you have friendships with so many. I always said, yeah, that rumor got to be there true too, because he does have a pin game. And most rappers with pin games, they do get requested. They do.
It happens.
I'm glad you're somebody though that's not always been somebody who's been like one to brag about it. You know what I mean? It shows you have respect for your pen. Because I feel when people feel they gotta brag about it, they don't respect their pen. That's just me. You know what I mean? But I'm glad to get your output on it because I didn't know that was your outlook on it. I didn't know that was your outlook for it, and that's dope to get a different view of it because we see that so much in media now with people bashing people who get stuff written for them. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you was able to make light of that for us.
I mean, I think anybody who's had some major success in any way, you know, has either written for somebody or has gotten something written for them. And, you know, I feel like both is even. The person that's writing is wrong and the person that's taking it is wrong. So if they're both wrong, you know, you got to blame everybody. And I feel like everybody in the industry has done one of the other. So with that being said, it's okay because everybody does it some capacity.
I remember Ghostface Killer one time saying, I think I read it. It might have been in a source where he was like, with Theodore Union, when he was recording, he was like, yeah, I'm in there writing. Somebody might throw me a line that sound dope. I'm putting it in there.
Yeah.
And he said, it happens. Everybody in there chilling. I'm writing a song, we recording, they writing a song. You might say, nah, use this, use that. So even to that aspect, he was like, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So, yeah. Will we see mickey.factz in any movies or TV shows in the future? Because you are definitely a personality that could be on the screen on a regular or on something, man. Like, I mean, I know how this started with commercials and all that, but in the future, can we see that? Is something going to happen?
I would love for that to happen. I mean, I've done stuff with. I was in the 40-year-old version that came out last year. I had some acting scenes in that. Came out.
That was
really
a good
dope.
movie too.
Thank you.
That was a good movie. Yeah.
So you know, I was.
Well, hold on. Wait. That was the other question. You just reminded. Did you pen any of her bars?
I didn't pen any of her bars. No, I did not. I didn't write any of her stuff. A lot of people have been asking me that, but no, I didn't write any of her stuff. I was supposed to be in the television show, The Equalizer.
Okay, with Latifah.
Yeah, but I didn't get chose to do it, sadly. But yeah, I mean, I'm always open to doing acting gigs, anything dealing with voiceovers or song placements, things like that. I love the entertainment art side of it, so I would love to be a part of all of it. You know.
So what about script writing?
I'm not really into script writing. I think my wife is more so than I am. I wouldn't get into that aspect of it though. No.
Okay. So, she writes scripts. Okay, that's because she's into it, rather.
Yeah, she's into that.
Well, she could pin something for you to story, and you can make your own stuff out there. You down there in Georgia now. Come on now. You can do all that stuff.
I'm with everything, man. Anything that gets to the bag, I'm with it, man. It doesn't matter for me. I'm with it all.
I mean, listen. How many projects does Mickey have? Total. Do you know offhand total projects that you have out?
I would say about 20, maybe.
20?
I would say about 20. I know all of them. I mean, let's see if we can run down them.
Let's do that.
As mickey.factz, Kings of the Bronx, which is not on streaming sites. It needs to be though. Kings of the Bronx, In Search of the Nerd, Flashback, Heaven's Fallout, The League Volume 1, The League Volume 2, Dark Phoenix, Better Than You, Love, Lust, Lost, Mickey Mouse. I'm gonna go in order, so I don't.
All right, go ahead. My bad, Mickey Mouse.
So Mickey Mouse, why not? 740 Park Avenue, Love, Lust, Lost 2, Y3, The Achievement Deluxe, I Said Joe, Enigma, Warp Collages, Hue, and The New Museum. So 22 projects. 22 projects.
This made it dope because you said it in order.
I said it in order, man. I said it in order. I think the New Museum wasn't in order, but yeah, 22 projects, and then there's like 2 others that's like just miscellaneous freestyles and features. So 24 projects if you want to count that. Oh,
so you don't count the stuff like when it's like the freestyle projects that got released or unreleased stuff?
I did. I just counted it. Rare freestyles and unreleased works. I did 2 volumes. I saw one that
said something like it was like freestyles and unearthed.
Yeah. So I did 2 volumes of that. So that's 24 projects. 24 projects. 24 projects, man. That's a lot of projects.
Let's talk about your fan base and your loyal followers, because they've been there for all these years, man. That's a strong fan base, a strong support system. You know what I mean? And you've been personal. Well, I won't say you shared all your personal, but you've shared a lot of your personal life experiences and stuff in your project and your music. You know what I mean? Do you think that's what keeps your fan base there and loyal to you?
Absolutely. They me telling my whole life story to them is the reason why they stuck around. Seeing my growth, going from, making a lot of upbeat party music and different styles of music in my early on career to when the party was over. It was like when I stopped going to the club, I stopped writing music like that, and I started talking about my life, and I started to get more lyrical and just keep that side of me going. So, I feel like that's a great plan B, and I think my fans appreciate the honesty that I put out there and the skill set that I put it out at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I got 2 things that I say to every artist, because I could make this longer, but I feel like you saying you all good, y'all getting better, but I don't want to hold you too long. I'm starting to hear the phlegm and everything kick up. I'm not a doctor, but so I'm gonna go ahead and do this because you gave me a lot anyway, and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? And you might not even remember me, but I was supposed to have you on 15 Minute Fame years ago for an interview, and we always couldn't get our schedule good. So I'm glad to finally get you on this platform to do this. So I usually give artists a list of people that I would like to see them collab with. And then I also ask them one question. For your list of artists, you actually have them on your Instagram. So for one, that I wouldn't have asked you this, but for one, I'm gonna say this. Can we possibly get a collaborated project between you and Royce da 5'9"? Not one small.
Wow. I mean, it's not far-fetched. I would have to ask him. I don't know if he would say no. I don't know if he would say yes. It's never been something that I thought about. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm sure he wouldn't be opposed to it because he respects my pen immensely.
Mhm.
But it's not. I don't think that's something that I have on my radar. If I'm being
Okay.
honest.
Let's say putting stuff in the universe.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
second thing was something that your post brought to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of is a spinoff of what Royce 5'9" has done. We had a hip hop supergroup. Royce was part of it.
Yes.
Royce was part of it. Excuse me. Royce was part of it. You put a post of a hip hop supergroup that I didn't even think of that could be a hip hop supergroup. The picture with Sky Zoo, Big Crit, Sally. Yes, you know, I'll talk about where I'm going. Now, can we possibly get a hip hop supergroup album from y'all four?
That group was me. It was me, Stolly, Crit, and Skyzoo.
Yep.
I would love to do something like that. I think Stolly would be down. I think Skyzoo would be down. It's just getting Crit to agree to something like that. I don't know if Crit would agree to something like that.
Okay.
I think he would. If he did, it would be he would do the production and probably some choruses and a verse here and
That's
there.
cool.
But I wouldn't be mad at something like that. Because I those guys are. I've known those guys, all three of them. I've known them longer than 10 years.
Okay.
So I would love to do something like that, but I just don't know if everybody else would be down to do it. Two things. So I got approached to be a part of a group called.
Okay.
I think they were called the Negro League or something like that. The Negro League. It was supposed to be me, Jag, Sorry the Kid, and 3D Nazi.
Jag, Sorry the Kid, 319. Jag, the battle that's in battle right now from West Coast, that rap. He does make some good conscious songs though. Sorry the Kid, 392. That's dope. That is dope. Wait, how long ago was this?
2 months ago, but things just people just never put things together. So it just takes a lot of times. It takes forever. But I'm always down. Like if I get the beat, I'm ready to.
Was that an artist idea or a producer bringing that together for y'all?
That was Jag's idea.
And
I think he just got caught up with the battle stuff. So that's why it never happened. But I do have a project coming out. I want to say in May or maybe June with Blue.
Okay.
From the West Coast.
Yes, I know. Yes.
That's coming out in like May or June. It's already done. All produced by Knots.
I was going to say he has good projects with Knots. So
yeah. So
but you have some good songs with Knots too, though.
Yeah. Me and Knots he produced my debut album. So he did this EP. We got Coda the Friend on there. We got Tavia from Tank and the Bangers on there. Sorry the Kid, Oswin Benjamin, El Hay, Asher Roth. It's crazy. It's a crazy project.
Yeah, Asher Roth? Yep. Wow.
Yeah, it's a crazy project, man. That's coming out hopefully next month, man.
Oh, so I got an exclusive. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Because I was anyway. Last statement, last thing, last question. What does bars still matter mean to you? That term, the words, any way you want to do it. What does bars still matter mean to you?
Man, it's a way of life for me, man. It's really a way of life for me. I would not be who I am today if bars didn't still matter to me. They mean everything, There are people who appreciate lyricism. There are people who appreciate storytelling. There are people who appreciate entendre, metaphor, simile. There are people who appreciate the spirit of competition. There's people that appreciate how the lines mesh with each other and how we can cleverly break down the English language. And for those people, they are the reason why I create what I create on a consistent basis and try to do it at a high level every single time I open my mouth. And I'm just happy that I'm a part of a culture that feels like bars still matters, you know. So that's what it means to me.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for this interview. Again, not from me being part of the culture, me from the outside looking in, you've done so much for the culture, and I appreciate you for it. You know what I mean?
Man. Thank you.
And you're definitely a phenomenal artist as well. And I hope you continue to get your flowers the way you're supposed to. And I hope this conversation about that battle rap part 2, they start to open their eyes up. And
they won't.
They need to. They need to. I thank you, man. Blessings to you and your family, man. You heard?
Same to you, King. Keep it live, B.
You too. 1.